My name's Lawson Freeman. I am the copy desk chief for the Daily Texan. Richard, can you just introduce yourself real quick?
I'm Richard Cole from Chapel Hill, North Carolina now. I worked from 1960 through about 1965. Well, I just started as a volunteer reporter, and they took me on kindly. And so I wrote a lot of stories for the Texan. And I worked part-time for the Texas Union under Shirley Bird Perry, who was a big name in the Union back then. And I would write stories about upcoming speakers and things like that. I was also in the Longhorn Band, and I would write stories about the band. I remember one time that I wrote a story about when elephants appeared with the band, seriously. And so those two things led me to get a position on the news staff of the Texan, and then I rose up to be managing editor. I think that the importance of full, fair, and accurate reporting was instilled in us. I mean, we tried our darndest to be fair and to get to cover the things that we thought should be covered. We couldn't cover everything, obviously, but we tried to pick and choose and cover the important things, and we did. I think we did, honestly, a good job. I mean, we made mistakes, obviously, we did. But there were some huge news events then. That fall, I mean, that was the JFK assassination. And I remember on the UPI machine, I saw the flash that he had been shot. And I ran down to the TSP office, which was on the same floor, and saw Lester Lloyd Edmonds there. And I said, could we charter a plane and go to Dallas? And so three of us flew to Dallas. Charmaine Marsh and I were the reporters, and Jim Seymour, who was the snare drummer in the Longhorn Band as well, was the photographer. And we stayed there a couple of days. And I think for people our age, we did a good job of covering it. The Texan put out an extra, of course, and Bill Little wrote the lead story in that extra, I think, as I recall anyway, but lots of people worked on the extra. And I'll never forget, I was in the jail, and there were some famous pictures taken then of people in the hall. It was jammed in the hall. And one of the cops held up the Oswald's rifle and walked down the hall, and they took pictures of the rifle, and I was there. And we went to Parkland Hospital as well and wrote stories and so on. It's something you don't forget. That was certainly one of the heydays of the Texan. I mean, everybody read the Texan every morning. We came out 6 days a week, and sometimes 7 with specials. And it was a big paper, a thick paper, full broadside edition and many pages. In all honesty, I think, I don't know how it is today, but back then, Texas Student Publications seemed to have all the money needed to do virtually anything that the Texan wanted to do, within reason. I didn't teach law. I might have taught one law course, but the things I usually taught were reporting and editing, the nitty-gritty things about journalism, and also international communication, because I studied international communication, especially Latin America and most especially Mexico, in my PhD program. And so those were the things I really liked to teach. I love to teach editing. I love to teach writing. And internationally, I had a love of Mexico back when I was an undergraduate. And we'd visit Mexico from time to time. And then C. Richard King, who was a professor in the journalism school then, would take his feature writing class to Monterrey, where he did at the time I took it. He might have taken it to other places in Mexico as well. And then my first job after getting the master's there in Austin and leaving town was at a newspaper in Mexico City. I was there for a year. And they gave me the title of assistant city editor, which I was very young to have that title, but it was in English. And I would go out and cover things. I covered some famous things, actually. And but it was a wonderful experience to be in Mexico at my age and in a huge city like that. Although back then it had only maybe 7.5 million people. I mean, today it has more than 20 million people. It's amazing. But I made all sorts of friends and sharpened my journalistic ability and my ability in Spanish as well. And so that came about through Mary Gardner, another professor there in journalism, who had all sorts of Latin American ties, and she helped me get that job in Mexico City. And I was always very grateful to her. The school was good to me, just like it was good to many other people. And it helped not only in the classes, but outside the classes. And the Texan, of course, was tied closely to the school at that time.